Hi there, it's Jilly. I wanted to show how when I teach my crocheting class, one of the first things that I like to let people see is the crochet hook. And I think it's just nice to kind of teach people the really basics of just even letting them hold a crochet hook. Pick out one that they like that feels really good to them. So this is a 5.75. This is my first crochet hook I ever bought 5 years ago. I like the weight of it. I tried another one yesterday just to see, and it just felt so much lighter. So I really love the feel of this one and how it kind of glides through easily. So when I teach my crocheting classes, I'll make a small ball of yarn so people aren't carrying around a big one, and then I'll have them just do a chain. So you just have to tie it on the crochet hook. And that's really how the crocheting begins. And this is going to be a longer video, not a short video. So when you tie on the yarn onto the crochet hook, you're kind of leaving it down about 2 inches down on that hook. And then you have your little tail that hangs down because that's going to be threaded back in. I showed a threader earlier. And so that's where you kind of start doing your chain. So you put it around the top. You're using both hands, but your dominant hand holds the hook, and then you're pulling through and you're chaining. So I really am a visual person. I like to look at things up close. So I thought I would do this video closely so people could see, and then you hold that tail down and then you pull, turn and pull through. So I just had people in the crochet class a couple of weeks ago just practicing making their chain. Some people really caught on fast and they could make a very long chain. And then what I would have them do is just have them get the feel of crocheting, doing that chain, right? And they kind of got the feel of it where they were like, oh yeah. And some people did the chain really tightly. Some people did it really loosely. You want to kind of do like a medium tightness. And then what I'd have them do when they'd bring it over to me, when, they kind of felt like they got the gist of it, I'd say people did probably about 20 down, is I'd have them take the crochet hook off and then pull out some of the chains. Because for the standard granny square, you want to do a circle. So you have that little chain. This has about 4 or 5 chains on it. And I'm not being really picky here counting today, but counting is a very big part of crochet. But this is just a really beginning video. So I'd say there's about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 chains on there. So you go into that last chain. I think we're going to just do this one just to keep it simple. I kind of whip that tail over if I can. And then you take the thread, the yarn, put that around, and then you pull it through the top 2 chains. And then what I like to do is kind of take it apart so you can see how it's kind of hanging down in a U. And that tail is kind of doing what it wants. But this is this was the step I found, and then you chain 2. This was the step I found was the hardest part, was realizing when you're making that chain that you're just basically making a circle with it. And then you're going chaining up 2. So that was really the beginning step of people really kind of moving into crocheting. And what I would try to show them is, I kind of did it wrong actually, was that you can take it apart so fast, right? Because I've learned how to crochet so quickly and I know how to do it so quickly. But I wanted to show people that especially when you're learning, there really isn't any major messing up. And that's why I like to give people like a smaller ball of yarn instead of the whole skein of yarn, so they're not like carrying it around and it's rolling all over the place. So I'd make like little balls of yarn. So you take that crochet hook that you like, that you feel comfortable with. Usually the 5.7 is a good one to start with. You take your piece of yarn, right? You make a circle out of it and you tie that onto your crochet hook. that's really the first step. You've got your tail hanging down, and see how that's kind of just tied onto the hook. Then you take the longer end, not the tail, and you make a chain. And that's a great way to practice just the very first step. You go around halfway through the top and you pull it through. One of the things I had said to somebody is it's like weaving. So for my granny square that I do, I like to do about 4 chains. I go back into the first one, into the first chain, pull that longer piece of yarn through those 2 chains, and you can kind of whip that tail over, and you're making a circle, because that circle is going to be the beginning circle of your whole granny square. It's just a great way to start the crochet process of the basic granny square. Then you chain 2, and so you've kind of got like a circle on the bottom, a ring it's called, and then 2 little crochet hooks that go down up, and then the yarn on the bottom, the tail. There's a lot of ways to describe crocheting, and I've been trying to pay attention to how the experts or different crocheters that I watch use the terminology. So I'm trying to learn a little bit more of that. So that's really a first start of crocheting. Find that hook, get your yarn. This is a medium weight acrylic yarn, medium weight, and it's a nice feel to it. It looks woolly, but it's actually acrylic. And then you find that crochet hook that feels best for you. There's all different kinds of crochet hooks, from a metal one like this one, which was my first crochet hook I've had for 5 years. You can get beautifully wooden made ones. There are handles that are softer grips and stuff that people like. I like this one. This is my fave, like I've said many times. But I can show some different crochet hooks that I have too, in different sizes. But this is a good size. I was listening to Jada in Stitches yesterday. I really love her. She's a great crochet teacher on YouTube and probably other platforms too. But I watch her on YouTube, Jada, Jayda in Stitches. And she was talking about a new crochet hook that she was trying out that was wood. And I think she said her favorite size was a 7. So it's a little bit bigger than what I like, but she's a real huge expert, and I love to watch her, just to give her a shout out. So maybe somebody learned something from this, and if anyone likes it, let me know. If you want me to make another video showing it again, I will. And love, Jilly.